everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to plug into one of the most incredible systems in the entire universe, the high-speed biological internet that's running your body right now. We're talking about your nervous system and how it pulls off this magic trick of neural control and coordination. So how does this amazing network actually do it? Well, let's start with something you've probably done today. Seriously, just think about that for a second. The moment you start running, your muscles are screaming for more energy, your lungs have to pull in more oxygen, and your heart has to pump way faster to get it all delivered. And this all just happens, perfectly, seamlessly, without you having to think about it at all. How on earth does your body manage that incredible symphony of action? Well, the answer comes down to one key process: coordination. This is the secret sauce. It's what allows all these different parts of your body to work together, completely in sync. When you exercise, it's not just your heart and lungs. Your muscles, your kidneys, they're all in constant communication, adjusting on the fly. And then, when you stop, they all gently power back down to normal. It's beautiful. So, if your body is a biological orchestra, who's the conductor? Well, that's where the nervous system comes in. It is the master coordinator, making sure every single part plays its note at the absolute perfect time. You see, unlike the endocrine system, which sends out hormones kind of like a radio broadcast to everyone, the neural system is all about speed and precision. It's like a dedicated point-to-point electrical grid. It sends a specific message to a specific location, allowing for these incredibly fast responses. We're talking about the difference between thinking about moving your hand and your hand already being out of the way of that hot stove. All right, so to really understand how this incredible network operates, we need to break it down. It's a beautifully organized system with two major divisions. Okay, so first up, you've got the central neural system. We just call it the CNS. Think of this as your body's command center. It's the brain and the spinal cord, and it's where all the big decisions and information processing happens. Then you've got the peripheral neural system, or the PNS, and that's basically everything else. It's this huge network of nerves that branch out from the command center, connecting it to every single nook and cranny of your body. But here's the cool part. This isn't just a one-way street of the brain barking orders. The command center needs intel, right? It needs reports from the front lines. So what you get is this constant two-way flow of information, and it's handled by two very distinct types of nerve fibers. It really just comes down to which way the signal's headed. Afferent fibers are the messengers carrying info to the CNS. These are your sensory reporters, telling the brain, hey, this coffee cup is hot. In response, the CNS sends a command back out through the efferent fibers. Those are the motor pathways, which tell your muscles, drop the cup, now. Okay, so we've got these huge networks and all these fibers, but what are they actually made of? Let's zoom way, way in. I mean, from the system-wide view right down to the microscopic level to meet the absolute star of the show, the individual nerve cell, the neuron. Every single one of these neurons has three basic parts. You've got the cell body, which is kind of the neuron's headquarters. Branching off of that, you've got the dendrites, which act like these little antennae, picking up signals from other neurons. And then there's the long, cable-like axon, and its job is to send that signal blasting outward to the next cell down the line. So we know a message travels down the axon, but what even is that message? It's not like a little scroll being passed along. No, it's a pulse of pure electricity. And how it's generated is, honestly, mind-blowing. So when a neuron is just sitting around waiting for a signal, it's not really off. It's in a state we call resting potential. The cell is constantly working, pumping positively charged sodium ions out and bringing potassium ions in. This whole process creates an electrical imbalance across its membrane. The outside of the cell ends up positive, while the inside is negative. It's like a tiny biological battery, just charged up and ready to fire. All that potential energy is just sitting there, waiting for one thing, a trigger, a stimulus that's just strong enough to kick everything into high gear. And when that stimulus hits, bam, little gates on the neuron's membrane fly open, and all those positive sodium ions come flooding into the cell. This causes a super fast, dramatic reversal of the charge. Suddenly, the inside is positive and the outside is negative. That flip, that is the action potential. It's the nerve impulse itself, a beautiful fleeting wave of electricity. Now, this action potential doesn't just happen in one spot. It creates a chain reaction. It triggers the exact same thing in the bit of axon right next to it, which triggers the next bit and so on. It's like a line of dominoes falling, a self-sustaining wave of electrical energy that zips down the entire length of the axon without losing any steam. Okay, so the electrical wave gets to the very end of the axon, but here's the problem. Neurons don't actually touch. There's a tiny, tiny gap between them. So how in the world does the signal get across that gap to keep its journey going? The solution is this absolutely ingenious chemical handoff that happens at a junction called the synapse. When that electrical impulse hits the end of the axon, it triggers the release of these tiny chemical messengers called neurotransmitters. These little guys float across the gap, the synaptic cleft, and they dock onto the next neuron, which triggers a brand new electrical impulse in that cell. So the signal goes from electrical to chemical and right back to electrical again. Just incredible. So now that we know how the messages are actually sent, let's zoom back out. Let's look at where they all end up. The central processing unit, the command and control system for your entire body. Let's take a quick peek inside the brain. The brain is without a doubt the most complex organ we know of. It controls everything from your breathing to your most complex thoughts, hopes, and dreams. And to even begin to make sense of it, we can divide it into 3 main regions, each with its own critical set of jobs. First up is the forebrain. This is the big boss, the CEO. It's where all your conscious thought, memory, and personality live. Then you've got the midbrain, which is kind of like a switchboard operator, routing all the sensory information like sight and sound to the right places. And finally, tucked away at the base is the hindbrain. This part runs all the crucial background programs that keep you alive, things like breathing, your heartbeat, your balance. It's the ancient, vital core of what makes you tick. So let's do a super quick recap of our journey. We saw that for our bodies to work at all, we need coordination. The nervous system provides that with its high-speed network. We learned the network is split into the central and peripheral systems. The messages themselves are electrical action potentials that travel along individual neurons. And finally, all those signals get processed in our incredible command center, the brain. And that kind of leaves us with one last big thought to chew on. We've seen that everything you do, everything you feel, every memory you cherish, at its most basic level, it's all just a pattern of electricity firing across a chemical gap, an elegant biological machine. What does that really tell us about the nature of consciousness, about what it really means to be you? Something to think about. Thanks for diving into this with me.